everyone, it is Monday, October 17th, 2022. I woke up this morning with every intention to do a pick a card reading. However, I do feel a challenged channeled message today, and this goes with the theme of it. Release the old and rest. Autumn with the crow. And the crow is actually also very relevant because I am being pulled to the last two videos that I posted. One on Saturday, which was channeled message, and the other one was on Wednesday about a dream I had about Zelensky, and crow came through, or raven came through on there, and the repetitive message from the crow that I was receiving in my personal life, and the parallels that I see in the channeled message that I received there, and how this is a significant time right now in your life that you need to really take care of your needs first. You need to let go of people, relationships, things of the past that no longer serve you, concepts that no longer serve you, habits, or even an idea that you were going to go through with that is not going to be in your highest good. You will be aware of this. This isn't something that's you're going to be questioning yourself about, like, oh, is this something that I really should do or want to do? It's something that is very clear cut, that is not going to serve you. I'm going to get into some concepts with regards to prior videos that I posted. These are things that I talked about with witchcraft, with demons, and who they truly are, and also about low vibrational habits, people, relationships that you may have with yourself, or the music that you listen to. It's also about drug and alcohol use. I'm not going to claim differences between use and abuse. When it comes to spirituality, it's the same thing, because it takes you into an altered state where you are not fully able to control yourself, and so that's a very dangerous thing to do. Also, what I would call forced divination, so tarot reading, channeling, going to spiritual gurus, or someone that's into this, some sort of spiritual work, connecting with spirits, passed away loved ones, ghosts, Ouija boards, and the dangers with that, and the dangers of connecting to people who are not of sound and moral backing, or a moral mind, who are not self-aware, who are not continuously working to be self-aware and to have these light guiding principles in the things that they do and the reasons why they do the spiritual work that they're involved in. People, and including yourself, if you're not obeying the higher authority, which is God, and you know, whether you are naturally gifted at this or you are just forcing yourself into this practice because you want some sort of desired information or outcome, well, that's also a way of letting entities in that shouldn't be there to begin with. And also, you have free will. That's both a blessing and a curse for everybody here on earth. And so what you do with that free will, kind of, you know, that's important here too. So what is the message, right? Other than everything that I said, there's something that you need to be letting go of immediately. It's very important that you let go of this. I'm also being drawn to the moon cycle. I'm seeing a moon, and that's why I stated the year as well, because whether this is I feel this is a specifically channeled message for someone who's going to watch this video today. However, you're watching this at some time in the future and you feel this is relevant to you, and I'm seeing number 444, so I think that resonates as well, that this is going to be for someone who sees this at a later date, to please look up whatever the moon cycle is today. That's going to be an another symbol. Okay, so look at it, and there's something about the degrees. Look at the degrees as well. There's a message in the degrees. There's a message, like, look at the spiritual meaning of whatever moon cycle it is today, because that is going to be all, like, giving you a whole big picture of everything that is going on in your life. So additional messages there that should also kind of claim and give you that confidence to claim this message as your own if you are still in question of whether this fully resonates with you or not, and to claim the parts of you that are in distress. It feels there's the parts of you that are unclear and in distress, and so it's reclaiming that part of you. So the moon, also intuition. Take note of intuitive hits, right? So that's kind of what I see with the moon as well, is that there's a guiding force. There's intuition within you of something that you should follow, right? Discipline. Feels like discipline, right? So let's see. What is this about? We have prosperity here, peacock. Strategy, red fox, creation. I'm seeing God specifically. They're viewing the message, or they're sending the message as creation or creator. That's important here. Okay, here it is. So back to the videos that I posted, right? I was talking about how I felt that there were energies and people working against me. It felt like several people for several different reasons, and that I would soon find out about this, which I believe I have. I briefly mentioned in my one of these prior videos that I'm talking specifically about these last two, the Zelensky one and the channel message one, and how that paralleled to my life. I briefly mentioned that there was a ghost in my house that saved my life, and what happened specifically in that is when I heard someone get off of my couch, I felt this message to get up. That was what they're trying to tell me, is to get up, go look around, check on something. And I was getting this feeling of paranoia that was connected to the first time that these ghosts saved my life. And I was like seeing images leading up to the couch. These images that I was getting were like images of the people who used to live here. Then I was getting images of like the house catching on fire, and so I was thinking, oh well, maybe I'm just getting paranoid because I'm thinking about that last time. And when I would say that, like, it didn't feel right to me, but I just let my logical mind take over and like try and just make sense of it and be like, okay, listen, you're I don't know why, you know, but I'll figure out why I'm feeling this heightened level of sensitivity surrounding this feeling, right? I'll evaluate it and figure it out logically. Well, it turns out that this house got flooded as well. That's not something that's unusual. It's a low-lying area where I'm at, so it's not something that was unexpected, right? However, one of the hot water heaters that I have, it's actually the main hot water heater. I have a couple hot water heaters that are attached to my house, but this specific main one is installed where it got flooded. The electrical panel on this got flooded, and basically what happened is it tried to catch fire. And the room that it was in, you couldn't tell. And my house, there's parts of it that I don't go in often. It's a bigger home, we'll just put it that way. And I have I have my family and some other people that like use these other parts of my home, right? So that it never goes unmonitored, and I'm not ever here by myself, kind of thing. So I don't have a mansion or anything. It's not like crazy like that, but just to kind of explain for you guys. So this particular room that the hot water heater is in, it got flooded, and you wouldn't know because it's sealed up, right? And so when I had this feeling that something was going on, I contacted one of my male friends and I told him, like, can you help me, like, figure out what's going on here? And so he went patrolling the area. He went into this room, and it was like, you could tell that something was wrong. It smelled off. It smelled like it was like smoking, smoldering, on fire. And so we immediately shut the power off to that area, and we took off the cover of the panel, and it was smoking, like completely smoking and melting, and you could see where it was like sparking, on the metal. It had like fire marks on it. And so it was well on its way to catching fire. However, it couldn't because it had flooded. So the foam that is in there could not hold the flame. It was actually putting the fire out. And what's interesting, beyond me having those feelings and me getting that message of like, get up and investigate, is that the hot water heater originally had, in big bold numbers, 555 on it. And that was in that dream I had. And I knew 5 was significant. Then, when it was replaced, it had the numbers 410 on it in big numbers. And so, again, that was part of my dream as well. And so I see this parallel with you, if this resonates with you, and I just looked up and I saw I've been recording for 13 minutes and 13 seconds, so 13, is that, again, you're getting messages, and you've gotten messages that are verifying something for you. And so please pay attention to that, because it's telling you something. It's telling you something beyond what your logical mind is telling you, or what you're trying to rationalize with this information. It feels like several people are working against you, and I see that parallel with me as well, because there are people who are wishing ill will on me, and people who are also intentionally wanting to cause harm on me. And that's just real life. That's just how it is. It's nothing to do with the hot water heater. It has to do with other subjects, but eventually you will figure out who it is, right? Just as I figured out with my personal life of what's going on here, right? And so with prosperity and strategy, it is looking to this higher knowledge, this higher source, and that's where that prosperity, the true prosperity, lies. That enlightenment, by remaining in the light, by staying within the light. And that's going against, it feels like it's going against, it's not instinct, but like, what's it called, when you really, really want something, so you're just kind of like focused on that. What is the word that I'm looking for? I'm sure you know what word I'm looking for, but it's like that fixation. It's going against that that feeling. It's really centering yourself and not being reactionary and saying, okay, what is the message here? What is my inner, from a place of peace, in the place of like a meditative place, a tranquil place, what is the message? What is Spirit telling me to do? Where is my guiding force heading me towards? Impulse, that's what I was looking for, the word impulse. So don't do something impulsively. Do something from a place of balance. And that's where that strategy comes from. That's where that cunningness comes from, by rising above these darker energies. Now, I'm being pulled to talk about demons again. It's a revisitation of demons and who they are, because it's very important that you know this with regards to what's going on here. Whether someone's practicing witchcraft against you, or if you're connecting to a spiritual person. So this is either you looking at pick a card readings from all kinds of different people. You're going against your better judgment on like taking a break from watching those things. If you're going to tarot readers or psychic mediums, or you're doing it yourself, some other form of divination, like any of that, right? When it's going against what the true calling, the calling is for this person that you're going to. My voice is going away. So, what I'm seeing here, oh my gosh. Trying to regain my voice, but it's trying to leave me. So, it feels like these energies are trying to intercept the true message for you. And this is extra verification. If you're someone who has gotten a personal reading from me, and I told you something similar to this, and you're watching this, like you just decide to tune in again, and you're like, okay, that's weird. This is extra verification for you, because for those of you who have not gotten a reading from me, and some of you may know this because I've rejected a lot of people to do readings. It's not because I reject you. It's because I need to hear from my guardian angels. I need permission from my guardian angels that this is the right thing to do, because I can tap into whatever energy I can try and force myself. I'm not always able to see everything, but I can try and force myself to do those things. And yet if I don't get that higher authority that it's okay, or if I'm, even to push boundaries sometimes is okay, but if I absolutely get a clear message of saying don't do it or don't answer these questions, then I will not do it. I give obedience to God. And so there's energies surrounding you that are trying to deter you from your inner truth, inner being. And I'm hearing, like, I don't know if you heard that, but like my animals are going crazy out there. They're being really disruptive. It's a very interesting force that's surrounding you. So who are demons? Who are demons? True demons are fallen angels. They're archangels. They're prior archangels. And archangels are the messengers of God. They know God in its truest form, his truest form, if you want to call it a he. It's like they know creation in its truest form, and they know us and our souls in our truest form. They are able to be anywhere at any time and communicate and understand and perceive God in a way that we cannot perceive. We can, the most holy and honorable person on earth still is susceptible, and I'm not going to say susceptible, but they are still privy to energies trying to intercept their aura. Okay, that's not to say that like that would happen, but that's the whole point of enlightenment and self-awareness, is to become an impenetrable force to darker entities. So you can be a supreme enlightened being, but you are not going to be able to perceive God in its entirety, because it's at a frequency and at a level of grandness that we cannot perceive. Just as heaven is somewhere we cannot perceive. We can perceive paradise, heaven on earth, and what that, how to emulate that, how to create that, how to emulate that on earth, and emulate God through us and through our actions, through our ability of free will to choose to emulate those qualities. However, we cannot perceive in the way that archangels can perceive, because they are the divine messengers to give us that information that God delivers. And then you have all those levels in between of other angels that exist, passed away loved ones that work for the light, all of that. And when people, it's an example would be like if you're praying for something and then there's like a sign, a feather or a butterfly or whatever, like that is divinely orchestrated by the angelic realm, right? But that message that you're looking for, that sign you're looking for, is in the form of a butterfly, right? That's not God himself, it's God's creation. But do you get what I'm saying? So it would be like if you're praying for something and then someone says something to you and you're like, that's God speaking through you. He works through people. Archangels, that's who he works directly through. They're the direct line of source of that message, okay? And so demons are fallen archangels. So they are able to know you through and through. They're able to perceive God through and through. They're able to tap into the energies of the future and of the past and all of this, because in truth, time ceases to exist beyond these realms. There's multiple realms that time exists in different ways, but the ultimate truth that I've seen, that I believe in all these concepts I'm saying, is that just as we're energy, right, like then time's not real. It's all relative. Like we're just energy, and like this is all a product of our energies. It's like the soul's energy. Like souls are energy. And so through our cooperative vision, the soul's cooperative vision, we create in tandem with God this perception of things, and this perception of time, this perception of life and death, right? But the archangels can see us at our truest form, our energetic form. And so when we're doing things of evil, in the service of evil, using our free will for that, then what we're doing is energetically changing the frequency. So what we perceive is away from the light, is darkness. Hope I'm making sense with that. So essentially, what I'm seeing here is people working against you are in truth playing themselves. What they're doing is they're tapping into an energy that is perceiving the future, that is perceiving what can happen to you, and then relaying it back into the spirit of this person in order for them to want to hex you or want to have ill will against you, and then not realizing what they're doing, like what they're wishing for, has already been set out in divine timing and divine order. And so then that in turn entraps this witch, or it entraps this demonologist, whatever, like just this person, this gossiper. Let's say they're just a gossiper. They don't have to be doing all that stuff. They could just be wanting harm on you and like fixated on something negative for you. And what they're doing is they're being fooled. They're being tricked into thinking that there's power in them or there's a relationship with this demon, when in truth, they're giving up their ability to go through the path of enlightenment, to the path of prosperity, through the path of looking beyond and healing. In what they're doing is entrapping them, enslaving themselves into the pit of destruction and into the pit of needing to have more to heal from. More energy that is of a lower vibration. So that's what's happening for you. That's what's going on with you. That's what I see for you. What I see also is everything that I said of letting this go. There's also protecting your energy, protecting your surroundings by eliminating low vibrational things around you. This is a side note, and I already know I'm going to repeat this later in some other video, but it seems relevant here for some reason. Maybe this is, I don't feel like this is you, so it kind of feels like outside of you. So whether you're going to hear something similar to this, or you were listening to something about this, or someone around you, I don't think that it's you. I mean, it could be, but I don't know. Where like, you know, I don't know how to say it, ayahuasca and like all these other things, like ego death is basically what I'm getting at, ego death. So there's like this big, there's always been like this about ego death, and like people wanting to experience that because they see, and now my battery's about to die. Very interesting. So let me change my battery and then we're going to talk about this. Okay, let's try this again. I'm on limited battery on this one, even though I charged it fully yesterday, so I don't know what's going on here. However, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna say it. I'll get it through anyway. So, ego death, right? Here's the thing with that, is people who do that are in I'm not going to generalize of why people do that, but when you take any sort of substance, a mind-altering substance, and you think that you're experiencing ego death, who's to say that you are not experiencing demonic possession where they're pulling you away from who you truly are? Because a lot of people perceive that ego death as becoming a completely different person than who you were prior. So if you didn't know who you were before, who's to say you know yourself now when it is a completely different person than the person that you identified as before? So to make that even better sense is if you're doing something, we'll use ayahuasca as an example. If you're doing that and you go through this and you have all these shamans or whomever is supposed to be responsible for you, which all they're doing is bringing demons into you, what they're doing is they're allowing a demon to intercept your body and pull you away from your true identity of who you are, your God-given identity, in your flaws and all of your struggles, that you have to go through your own processes, not cheating. It's cheating, it's taking steroids, and then it's like steroids for the brain pretty much, and the spirit, and then ripping you apart and destroying your inner being, because that's what steroids do. And it's like you don't even build the foundation. You're not built on all of that. You get it? So they pull you away, these entities pull you away from your body and they replace you with a demon. So you think that this new person, this brand new person that's like no longer who you previously were, is now you. It's a demonic possession. Okay, so that's what I get with like ego death. I don't know how that plays in to your situation. Like, again, like maybe it has nothing to do with you and this has something to do with like something you're going to hear about later or very recently you heard about, and this is just like some other confirmation for you. But I'll probably do a video. I mean, I will do a video some other time in the future whenever I feel motivated to do that. Ultimately, like, you are safe, okay? That's the whole beauty of this whole thing, is like you are able to always get back on your path irregardless. That's the whole point of like the story of Jesus, or like the reason of Jesus and everything, is the savior of like of this representation that like I would never ask you to go through anything that I would never do myself. I would never show you and tell you and expect something of you that I would never be able to do myself, or that I haven't done myself to get to the point that I am as a creator, as your father, as God. I would never do that to you. And as soon as you decide that you want to turn your back on darkness, you are forgiven. You are worthy. You are ready. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter what you've thought. It doesn't matter any of that. I will cherish you and honor you in all of your flaws, all of your perceived mistakes and perceived flaws, truly. And I will be here for you. I will do that for you. I will support you, right? That is, like, here are moon cycles again. Just pay attention. Pay attention to what you're hearing. Pay attention to what you're feeling. Pay attention to what you're being directed to feel. I don't know, feel. Gentleness. Surround yourself with gentle people, situations, and environments. Take your power back. Okay, Archangel Raziel, I believe. I don't know how to pronounce this, but this is a significant archangel. Look into this archangel. They're helping bring esoteric information and symbols, helping you understand spiritual truth. And so it's really about remembering who you are. You're a powerful being of light. You are the product of God. You were created in His image, in His beautiful, perfect image. And so again, it's this feeling of like, don't ever forget that you have the power in your life, in your spirit, to, how do I say this? No one has the ability to inhabit or invade the free will of your spirit. No one has that ability to intercept into your aura. Protect that space, honor that space, and only it's like only doing things on your time, something like that. I don't know. I think I need more guidance in something that I want to say. I think we're on the same page. We're on the same page here. Move beyond ancestral patterns. Like, don't keep secrets to yourself. Like, be honest with yourself. Kindness. Not painting people. It goes back to the other video, the Zelensky. Not painting people in a black and white kind of outlook. Okay. I get it. Okay. Yeah. Learn from spiritual experiences. Be the light. Embrace the energy of peace. So, my voice is trying to leave again. Connect to the voice of your soul and your soul alone. What does that mean? Is connecting into your heart space and listening to the inner guidance from yourself that is being assisted by your guardian angels, by your spiritual leaders and teachers of the light. So your guardian angels, archangels, Archangel Raziel, specifically coming through, God, and connecting with that. No one else has authority over you unless you give them that power. But ultimately, you wield the power to step away at any time that you want to. You have that ability and that authority to do so. Because the only authority that you should be focusing on and listening to is the Creator, to God. And knowing the truth of who these entities are, right? And kind of like dispelling, it's like seeing the truth dispels all perceived power that they have. They have no power. They have no power. They have no ability. It's the people who back them that give them that ability to have this power, right? Which in truth, the people who are giving them this are enslaved. And so you have to look at it from that kind of perspective, and that kind of softens your heart to these people. Not in a pitying way necessarily, but in a place of like recognizing like, I have my faults, I've had my transgressions, I've had to go through traumatic events in order to heal. I've had to do things in order to understand other aspects of it. It's like we're all similar in that regard, right? Maybe not in our experiences in this lifetime, but in our perception, we're more alike than we think. Just talking about this experience alone, that's not even talking about all the lifetimes that exist. Our perceived lifetimes, that is. And so understanding that kind of brings everything back into equilibrium, because then you don't acknowledge that. You don't acknowledge the dark people. You don't acknowledge the dark, low vibrational things. You give no attention to it. You move away from it. You walk away from it. And also, these demons want to be seen, and these people want to be seen as powerful, as dark, as like in a black and white sense, right? And yet, as you can see, they have a light within them. They have a divinity within them. They're just choosing to ignore it. But that doesn't mean that it's not real. That doesn't mean that it's not existing in them. And the more that you focus on their inner light, the more that they cannot hide it, right? They cannot hide in the shadows forever. You just have to come from a place of peace. You don't attach negative energy to them. You know, like, don't hold resentment towards them, anger towards them. Like, release that. Pray for them, or if you would like, you could light like an intention candle. You know, that's what I'm seeing is like some advice. Like, you don't have to light a candle, but this is just the idea of it. So the idea is to light an intention candle of saying, like, a meditative place of saying, like, I pray for the healing of those who have attempted to work against me, and I pray that they heal themselves, that they start to hear the truth of their souls, the truth of their origins, the truth of their reasons for being here, and seeing that they are carrying energies of unhealed truths. It's unhealed. It's not the truth. It's not real. And I think that kind of, you know, when you think about, like, why, if in your past you've been a certain way towards people, it comes from a place of being unhealed, or like following, you know, or if you're horrible to yourself, let's say you're damaging to yourself, self-destructive, it's because these stories that you told yourself were from other people that were not healed. So you can light an intention candle for yourself as well, you know, of from here on out listening to yourself and speaking to yourself from a healed truth perspective. And then praying for those other people that they heal as well, and that you are no longer resonating at the same frequency as people like that, or energies like that. And protect yourself that way. Again, be very gentle with yourself. Surround yourself with gentle people, situations, and environments. So, Sandal Fun coming through twice, so that's important. We'll pull one more for you. Life review. Take inventory of your life and resolve to change or heal anything that is imbalanced. So remember that you're very, very loved, and everything's going to be all right. All right, bye guys.